Chapter 10C. Mary and Deacon sat down, and he took a clumsy little brown paper package out of his coat pocket. He untied the string, and inside there were ever so many neater and smaller packages with a picture of a flower on each one. "There's a lot of mignonette and poppies," he said. "Mignonette's the sweetest smelling things as grows, and it'll grow wherever you cast it, same as poppies will. Them as'll come up on bloom if you just whistle at 'em, and them's the nicest of all." He stopped and he turned his head quickly, his poppy-cheeked face lighting up. "Where's the robin as is calling us?" he said. The chirp came from a thick holly bush, bright with scarlet berries, and Mary thought she knew whose it was. "Is it really calling us?" she asked. "Aye," said Deacon, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. "He's calling someone he's friends with. That's same as saying, 'Here I am, look at me, I wants a bit of a chat.' There he is in the bush. Whose is he?" "He's Ben Weatherstaff's, but I think he knows me a little too," Mary said. "Ah, he knows thee," said Deacon in his low voice again, "and he likes thee. He's took thee on. He'll tell me all about thee in a minute." He moved quite close to the bush with the slow movements that Mary had noticed before, and then he made a sound almost like the robin's own twitter. The robin listened a few seconds intently and then answered quite as if he were replying to a question. "Ah, he's a friend of yours," chuckled Deacon. "Do you think he is?" cried Mary eagerly. She did so want to know. "Do you think he really likes me?" "He wouldn't come near thee if he didn't," answered Deacon. "Birds is rare choosers, and a robin can flout a body worse than a man. See, he's making up to thee now. 'Cannot thou see a chap?' he's saying. 'Cannot thou see me?'" And it really seemed as if it were true. He so sidled and twittered and tilted as he hopped on his bush. "Do you understand everything birds say?" asked Mary. Deacon's grin spread until he seemed all wide, red, curving mouth, and he rubbed his rough head. "I think I do, and they think I do," he said. "I've lived out on the moor with 'em so long, and I've watched 'em break shell and come out and fledge and learn to fly and begin to sing, till I think I'm one of 'em. Sometimes I think perhaps I'm a bird or a fox or a rabbit or a squirrel or even a beetle, and I don't know it." He laughed, and he came back to the log and he began to talk about the flower seeds again. He told her what they looked like when they were flowers, and he told her how to plant them and watch them and how to feed them and water them. "See here," he said suddenly, turning round to look at her. "I'll plant them for thee myself. Where is the garden?" Mary's thin hands clutched at each other as they lay on her lap. She did not know what to say. For a whole minute she said nothing. She had never thought of this. She felt miserable, and she felt as if she went red and then pale. "Tha's got a bit of a garden, hasn't tha?" Deacon asked. It was true that she had turned red and then pale. Deacon saw her do it, and as she still said nothing, he began to be puzzled. "Wouldn't they give thee a bit?" he asked. "Hasn't thou got any yet?" She held her hands tighter, and she turned her eyes towards him. "I don't know anything about boys," she said slowly. "Could you keep a secret? If I told you a great secret, it is a great secret. I don't know that I should do if anyone would ever find out about it. If they did, I believe I should die." She said the last sentence quite fiercely. Deacon looked more puzzled than ever, and even rubbed his hand over his rough red head again. But he answered quite good-naturedly. "I'm keeping secrets all the time," he said. "If I couldn't keep secrets from the other lads, secrets about foxes' cubs and birds' nests and wild things' holes where they'd be not safe from the more. I can keep a secret. Mistress Mary did not mean to put out her hand and clutch his sleeve, but she did. I've stolen a garden, she said very fast. It isn't mine. It isn't anybody's. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares for it. Nobody ever goes into it. Perhaps everything is dead in it already. I don't know. She began to feel hot and contrary as she had ever felt in her life. I don't care. I don't care. Nobody has any right to take it from me when I care about it and they don't. They're letting it die, all shut in by itself. She ended passionately. She threw her arms over her face and burst out crying. Poor little Mistress Mary. Deacon's curious blue eyes grew rounder and rounder. Hey, he said, drawing his exclamation out slowly, and the way he did it with both wonder and sympathy. I've nothing to do, said Mary. Nothing belongs to me. I found it myself. I got into it myself. I was only just like the robin. And they wouldn't take it from the robin. Where is it? Asked Deacon in a dropped voice. Mistress Mary got up from the log at once. She knew she felt contrary again and obstinate, and she did not care at all. She was imperious and Indian and at the same time hot and sorrowful. Come with me and I'll show it to you, she said. She led him round the laurel path and to the walk where the ivy grew so thickly. Deacon followed her with a queer, almost pitying look on his face. He felt as if he were being led to look at some strange bird's nest, and he must move softly. When she stepped to the wall and lifted the hanging ivy, he started. There was a door, and Mary pushed it open slowly, and they passed through together. And then Mary stood and waved her hand round defiantly. It's this, she said. It's a secret garden, and I'm the only one in the world who wants it to be alive. Deacon looked round and round at it, and round again. Eh? He almost whispered. It is a strange, pretty place. It's like as if a body was in a dream.